Hey friends, welcome to the channel. Today we are going to dive into a very powerful concept from sociology and modern thought. A word that sounds heavy, and trust me, its meaning is even heavier. And the word is juggernaut. Yes, you might have heard this word before in news, debates, films, or even superhero comics, like the unstoppable villain Juggernaut from Marvel. But in sociology and philosophy, juggernaut means something is much deeper. It's perfect metaphor to understand how modern society works. Fast, Catholic, uncontrollable, and even dangerous. So let's break it down in simple words with real examples, origins, and sociological meaning. So where does the word Jagannath come from? The word Jagannath actually comes from India, from the name of deity Jagannath, which means Lord of the Universe. In the city of Puri, Odisha, there is a very famous festival called Ratha Yatra, where three giant chariots carry the idols of Jagannath, Balabhadra, and Subhadra through the stairs. Lakhs of people gather, pull the chariots with ropes, sing, and pray. It's an intense spiritual event. But during British colonial rule, some English writers misunderstood what was happened. They thought people were so blindly devoted and they throw themselves under the wheels of the chariots and get crushed as a sacrifice. Now, this wasn't really true, but the British carried this story back to Europe and the word juggernaut entered into English to mean a huge, powerful, unstoppable force that crushes everything in its path. So, yes, the word started from India but got twisted through colonial misunderstanding. What does juggernaut mean today? In today's language, we use the word juggernaut to describe things that are too big to stop, moving very fast, affecting millions of lives, and sometimes even dangerous. Example: global capitalism is a juggernaut, technology is a juggernaut, climate change is a juggernaut, the internet, AI, social media, all of these are juggernauts. They keep growing, spreading, evolving, and ordinary people often feel like they can't do anything to slow them down. It's like being on a train that's speeding so fast, even the driver doesn't know how to stop it. Anthony Giddens, the sociologist behind this metaphor. One of the most famous modern sociologists, Anthony Giddens, used this word juggernaut to describe modernity itself. In his book Modernity and Self Identity, he wrote, modernity is like a juggernaut, a runaway engine of enormous power. What does that mean? Gideon is saying modern society, with all its systems like capitalism, industrialization, globalization, surveillance, and technology, has become so big and complex. It moves forward at full speed, and even if no one is in full control. And while modernity brings process like science, medicine, education, communication, it also brings stress, identity crisis, risk, inequality, environmental destruction. So it's both a miracle and a monster, a juggernaut that helps us grow but also creates fear. Real life examples of juggernaut. Let's look at some real, relatable examples of juggernaut in our daily life. Technology and social media. Think how fast apps like Instagrams, TikToks, YouTube, and AI tools like ChatGPT are growing. We started using them for fun and knowledge purpose, but now they control our time. They affect our mental health. They influence elections, behavior, perspectives. They track our data 24/7. You can't stop using them, but you also can't fully control them. That is juggernaut. Capitalism and consumerism. Modern economics are based on constant buying and selling. Everything is modernized: foods, education, attention, emotion. Corporations became so powerful that they start shaping our choice. Ads follow you everywhere. Everything is branded: fast fashion, fast foods, fast news. Even when we know it's bad for our health or the planet, we keep consuming. That's the capitalist juggernaut. The next example is climate change. We have known for decades that fossil fuels, deforestation, and pollutions are causing global warming. Yet oil companies still makes billions. Cars and factories keep running. Forests are still being cut. Why? Because the industrial juggernaut is too tangled in our economy. Showing it down feels impossible. Bureaucracy and government system. Ever faced endless paperwork, rigid rules, or government delay? You are facing the bureaucratic juggernaut. Systems so big and rule driven that even when people want to help, the machine slows everything down. Here is a big question. If juggernauts are unstoppable, are we just helpless passengers? Anthony Giddens says, not exactly. Yes, we may not be able to stop the train, but we can change the direction. We can reduce the speed. We can add safety systems. We can educate people to take control. That is called reflexivity, a key idea in sociology. It means we have the ability to reflect the system, ask questions, and bring change. Movements like climate protests, digital detox culture, minimalism, mindful consumption all show that people can push back. Maybe we can destroy the juggernaut, but we can definitely guide it. Before we end, let's also remember the word Jagannath came from India, but it was misunderstood and turned into a scary symbol. So, when we use such terms, we should also understand the cultural and historical roots. Post colonial scholars reminded us that language carries power. Words reflect how history shaped over worldviews. So, friends, we have almost come to the end. Now, let's quickly recap what we have learned today. Juggernaut means a huge, unstoppable force. It comes from Indian deity Jagannath but was misunderstood by the British colonizers. Sociologist Anthony Giddens used it to describe the modern society. Juggernauts in our lives include technology, capitalism, climate change, and bureaucracy. They feel uncontrollable, but we still have the power to guide or reform them. Awareness, education, and activism can help us before active drivers, not just passive passengers. If this video helped you to understand the concept of Juggernaut in a new way, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel.